This is Gloves Off on ESPN Crick Info, brought to you by Maruti Suzuki. I'm Jason Dacey. Great to be here. You know the score with this show. It's about giving opinions, one side of the cricket to the other side of cricket. And we have two big names from the world of cricket with Sanjay Manjrekar, a batsman, against Shaun Tait, a bowler. And they're ready to get the gloves off. Shaun, you're the rookie here. You haven't done this before. Are you ready to go at Sanjay?
I'm not sure. I think I should be able to handle it. Okay.
Yeah, and you were against Deep Gupta last time. Now you've got Shaun.
The subject this time is a very sensitive one. So after this show, both of us might be in big trouble, especially me.
Yes, indeed. Let's tell you about the subject. It is about who is the better T20 batsman. Is it Virat Kohli or is it AB de Villiers, the RCB teammate? So without further ado, let's get some first blood. So the question is, which side has each person taken? We'll start with Sanjay Manjrekar, who's been very brave. And you've said that Virat Kohli is not as good a batsman in T20 cricket as AB de Villiers.
Yeah.
That's a big statement. Tell us
Yes,
why.
and I'll get some personal security after the show. Well, it's, let's be very honest. You're talking about two exceptional players, two great batsmen of this generation. But when it comes to Test match cricket, I don't think there's any dispute. At this stage of their respective careers, Virat Kohli the better batsman for me. 50 overs cricket, one of the all-time greats, I think, and at this stage also I think better than AB in 50 overs cricket. But T20s, especially IPL, I just feel AB has an edge over Virat Kohli as a T20 batsman.
Well, that is a big statement. And Shaun actually has the advantage, of course, bowling against both of these batsmen during your career. Yep. So you've got 30 seconds to tell us why you think Virat Kohli has the edge on AB de Villiers as a T20 batsman.
Going straight off your point, I've been unfortunate enough to bowl to both of these guys, unsuccessfully, both occasions. But yeah, I just found personally that bowling to Virat, it was just a lot harder to get out. I had, personally had no answers as a team. In a team meeting, trying to find a weakness in T20 cricket against Virat was very, very difficult, whereas AB sometimes felt like he gave you an opportunity.
I think you got AB de Villiers out, didn't you, in a World Cup game?
That was a long time ago. It was a long time ago, but yes.
All right, so now we've heard their opening statement. Now it's time for them not to be so nice and maybe interject a bit with trading blows. All right, Sanjay, tell us more, because you're a very brave man. You're obviously an Indian, and you're an iconic Indian batsman from your time and now a broadcaster. But just talk more about why you've given the edge to AB de Villiers.
Interesting, actually, Shaun, when he mentioned about Virat Kohli, he said he was the harder batsman to get out as a bowler. And T20 cricket is not about getting batsmen out. It's about denying batsmen runs to score quickly. And that's why Virat Kohli, pales in comparison to AB de Villiers. And if you ask Virat Kohli himself about who he thinks is the better T20 batsman, he'll say AB de Villiers.
I noticed when they ask Virat who the better player is, they don't ask AB those questions. Virat's much more important and a much better player, so they don't need to ask him those sort of questions. And Virat's his captain, so he's senior as well.
But let's look at the stats.
If you ask bowlers, Shaun has mentioned that he found Virat Kohli a difficult batsman to dislodge. But if you take a group of bowlers bowling in the IPL and ask them who would they prefer to bowl to in a tight match situation, pressure situation, I have a feeling they'll say be happier to bowl to Virat Kohli than AB de Villiers, because AB de Villiers has this unorthodox game. You don't know where to bowl. The bowler is running and suddenly AB de Villiers from leg stump is outside the off stump.
Right.
Which is something Virat doesn't do as much. So maybe.
No, but what do you say to that? Virat, you said, is harder to get out.
I feel that he's like an assassin. It's slow. It's a slow death as a bowler. He's paper cuts in the final blow because he's in. AB, fair enough, he can take you apart in a couple of overs, no doubt. He can change the game himself. I feel Virat just has complete control throughout the 20 overs, and he's always there at the end when it counts.
Good point, but T20 cricket is more about guys blasting just for a little while and taking the game away quickly from the opposition, and the rest can come and just finish the dish by just putting a little bit of garnish and stuff. So that's where I think AB does his thing. Power game, which is such a big strength in T20 cricket, which is the longest six hit this season is 111-meter six, and who is the man who's hit that six? That's AB de Villiers. So this is a guy who will miss time shots and still give you 6 runs.
Sixes, I mean, exactly. Sixes are fine, but I'm looking, man of the match awards. He's got 10.
Yeah,
Currently got
that's
10 man of the match
how many,
awards.
how many matches can they win?
Which is the most by any, apart from Shader Freed, is most by any player. So he's a king of the chase, whether it's for RCB or India. And also, I mean, his average in T20 internationals, the big stage against the best players is almost double.
Correct. Those are numbers that you can't dispute with, but I'm going to interpret them slightly differently. Impressive numbers, but when you look at India's T20 international record as a team since Virat Kohli's debut, it has actually gone down. So India haven't won as many matches. I'm not saying Virat Kohli is responsible for that. AB, is the reverse. Since he started playing T20 internationals, actually the team's record has improved. There's so many other forces that come in, but I'm just using numbers to back up my claim.
I think it's funny because he's replacing a guy like Dhoni. He was probably the greatest at the time, and AB's sort of come into a team that was pretty ordinary, I think. So
I mean, they're both performing, aren't they? Look, without them, where would RCB be with their batting?
Absolutely. The thing I love about AB de Villiers, and in my book, that is why I always rate him slightly ahead, very slightly ahead of Virat Kohli, is that he goes for the jugular, so he'll get you to those 20-25 runs over and just destroy the bowler for the rest of the match, and thereby creating this massive winning impact at that stage. He's not there. He's right. He's not there in the end, seeing his team through. But he's already won the game.
Virat's there instead.
Yeah.
So that's
All right, we've heard the arguments there. Now it's time for the knockout take. Well, they've both made pretty good arguments, Sean and Sanjay. But let's give the knockout take. Let's find the final verdict from Sean Tate first of all. Why you think Virat Kohli has the edge on AB de Villiers?
I mean, I think cricket at the end of the day, it is a stats game, and the one big stat is that they average the 50 versus 26 in the T20 internationals. And like I said, he's a captain. He leads from the front. He's there at the end when it counts. He's responsible for his team.
I think you're going to be a lot more succinct than Sean.
Well, I'll just say this: when you look at the fastest 50 by a South African batsman, you'll find AB de Villiers there. Fastest 100 as well, AB de Villiers. So he gets those runs quickly, makes the impact when it matters, and leaves Virat Kohli to finish the job.
Okay. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Sean. We're going to give you a chance to say what you think, whether you agree with Sanjay or Sean about who's better. This is how you do it. Post your comments on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Record a video with your arguments and post it on our Facebook comments section. Best entries to get a feature on future episodes on our social channels, and selected winners will stand a chance to argue with our experts live. So thank you to Sanjay Manjrekar.
I have to rush for a facial surgery.
Change your identity.
Yeah.
Sean, thank you very much. This has been a show called Gloves Off, and we want to hear from you. Don't forget about that.